Welcome to Hard Hats and Horizons, the podcast where we dig deep into the construction and economic development shaping the future of Dallas-Fort Worth. We bring you insights from industry leaders and visionaries who are driving growth in North Texas. From construction projects to industry trends and insights, we cover it all. So grab your hard hat and join us as we explore the people and projects shaping the skyline of DFW. Now, here is your host, Andrea Pender.
Okay, well, I want to thank Joe Flores for coming on the show today. He is the president and managing partner of Cooper General Contractors. So I'm excited to have him on board. We've known each other for a couple years now. I think probably through the industry a little bit, maybe more than that. But since coming on at Carrco, that's, I feel like, when we've really gotten connected. So I kind of want to start with just tell us how you got to where you're at right now.
Yeah, I mean, a couple things about me. Married to Carrie. We have two boys together, 6 and 4, Jackson and Joseph. And then I've got two daughters also, Anna and Rebecca, that are 28 and 26. And so there's a little bit of a spread there. It's
A little bit.
just a tad. But I always tell people that I'm living the life of a younger man. So that's why I do what I do.
Nice.
But after a almost 20-year career at a larger firm, I was on autopilot and decided that I needed a little bit more excitement in my life. Like I said, I'm living the life of a younger man. My wife, Carrie, could see that I needed something different. And so this opportunity pops up middle of 2022. And then fast forward to January 23 to today, I've been running it since then.
Nice.
And so that's how I got to this spot. Yeah.
Nice. Do you remember our conversation when we had lunch, like right after I came on board? And I was like, how in the world did you get Carrie Flores to work at your company? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I had a little bit of influence. Yeah.
And look, the light bulb goes off,
Yeah.
and I'm like, it's your wife.
Yeah.
How did I not put this together?
Yeah. And she's been a game changer for us just in terms of how we brand ourselves and how we communicate out to the bigger world and how we put the posts together. She's put us on a whole nother level.
And it's good that you recognize that because so many people are like, oh, marketing's overhead, but like you get it. And sure, marketing is overhead, but you still have to do it. You have to do it well. So that was a lucky little find that you have there.
It worked out well. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit how you got started. And so maybe back in the day, and then how did you decide to leave that and get started at Cooper?
I mean, I'm going to go back pretty far. I mean, just getting into the construction industry and my like for it, my desire for it. When I was a kid, I was watching the Brady Bunch, and I'll date myself, but Greg Brady, the dad, was an architect. I thought, okay, that's what I want to be. And actually went to Skyline High School, was in an architecture cluster, did fine there, and then was either going to go to Texas Tech, or Texas A&M. And I chose Texas Tech because they had a fairly decent architecture program. But my best friend taught me to go into A&M instead. So I went down there and never looked back. Started in architecture, did that for 2 years. And my motives weren't exactly pure when I was, 18, 20 years old. And I found out how much an architect was making back then and said, okay, this is a lot of interesting effort to put in for that sort of compensation. But again, that's the short-sightedness of being a young man.
Right.
And I'm glad I did it, but I switched majors to construction science.
Okay.
And got into it, graduated, went to go work for an outfit called Constructors and Associates, which is basically a structure tone.
Oh, okay.
Worked there for 3 years. And then a gentleman by the name of Jim Getman recruited me away from there in 1995 to go work at what was HCB Contractors back then. And I was just chomping at the bit to make that change because I wanted to work for Beck when I was at school, but just didn't get the opportunity because of the economy back then. And he recruited me away, and 2 weeks later, I was working on the Texas Motor Speedway. So that was my first project with Beck. Yeah. And then fast forward almost 28 years of working my way up through operations. And then Peter Beck decided he wanted me in corporate services to run human resources of all things. That was a big change. Worked my way through kind of the corporate service piece for 7 years. We restructured the organization, and my travel just went through the roof. And that became kind of an unsustainable thing for us because I had 2 toddlers at the house. And looking at my wife and saying, hey, I'll see you in a couple of days. Good luck with the boys. Which it wasn't something that was really working out for us.
Travel's hard. I don't know how people do it. I mean, somebody's having to take the responsibilities on somewhere,
Yeah.
unless you're just the single person with not even a dog,
Yeah,
you know?
like she was working full time at that
Mhm.
that point in her career, so it just was not working out. And then, like I said, I was kind of on autopilot where I was at, and that was that evolution in myself, and then the company evolving kind of differently. Just there was a misalignment there, and it just made sense to do something different. And Beck and I kind of came to the conclusion almost at the same time, and it's worked out beautifully.
Nice. Nice. And then how did Cooper get on your radar?
So obviously, the year before, I was starting to open up to opportunities, and that was one of the neat things about working at Beck. We were always getting pinged.
Mhm.
I mean, I always to me, they're the gold standard
Uh-huh.
in the industry. And so a lot of us got pinged quite often. And I said no for 27 years. And as things were kind of changing in my personal life with carrying the boys, I started to kind of listen a little bit more, and the opportunities started to pop up. And there were a few interesting ones, but when this one came across in terms of selling a business, Carrie could see that my energy level just shot through the roof. And even though I was later in my career, I feel like I've got just a lot of runway, and I want my boys and my girls to see me producing and contributing and creating something for a long time. So it was easy to make the jump.
Mhm.
I mean, it was scary, don't get me wrong,
Right.
but it was easy.
Yeah. Well, and it's probably great one day and scary the next
Yeah.
day. And you get all of
Oh,
those
yeah.
things when you're rewinding about 5 minutes. I had
Mhm.
another guest on the podcast and they went to architecture school
Mhm.
because of the Brady Bunch
Oh my
as
gosh.
well. So that show, it would be interesting to see like how many of you went to architecture
Gosh.
school because of a show.
Yeah. I'm like, how many family shows influence people to go do something for
Yeah. And there were a lot of good shows on TV, with the parents with interesting, jobs. So that's funny that two of you now
Yeah.
have to keep a tally
Yeah, there you
of
go.
some sort. Let's see, what are some key moments or challenges that you have had in your career?
Um, I would say a key moment that I think changed the trajectory of my development was I used to work with a gentleman whose name was Frank Epping. He was with Beck. He was a senior project manager at the time, and we were on a project in South Lake Town Square. He knew that I was bilingual, and he taps me on the shoulder and says, "I want you to give the safety speech. We had a monthly safety launch, and he wanted me to give the speech in Spanish." And I said, "I'm not going to do that." And I just said no. And he was like, "What do you mean you're no? I'm your boss.
Right.
You need to do what I'm asking you to do." And I go, "I'm not going to do it." And I sat on that for a month, and then I finally went back to him and said, "Tell you what, I'll go ahead and do it." And there was just something about that moment, getting in front of that of our workers and our people, and being able to communicate appreciation to them in their in a native tongue. It just kind of opened my eyes up, and this fear of speaking to larger groups just went away at that moment. And so I thought that was pretty pivotal. I mean, the other thing is I had a leader that was pushing me to be better. That was the other thing that became apparent. So that was a trajectory changer for me.
Nice. That's interesting. And some people love speaking in front of big groups, and some people are scared to death, and they do a good job, and some
Yeah.
people are scared to death, and it just takes a little
Yeah.
while. I think sometimes it's scarier when we have a small group of our peers than it is a room of 200 people.
I think so. Yeah. But that was, I would say that was a really good moment. That didn't feel comfortable at the time, but it's paid dividends since.
That's great.
And that was back in the late 90s. So it's been a while.
Nice. Nice. So what are some things that have motivated you or some lessons you've learned along the way?
I remember when Peter Beck promoted me from a senior project manager. I was a project exec on a large retail project to be the head of HR. That was pretty challenging because, and it taught me a little bit about just how things work. As for those of us that run work out in the field, if you're the leader, I mean, we can say up, down, left, right, stop, go, and it just sort of happens. And moving into a corporate function where you're serving at that time 700 people, you don't get to do it that way. You've got stakeholders, and I was coming up with ideas left and right on, no, we need to do this, we need to do that. And I just started implementing. And then all of a sudden, partners in the organization are, "What are you doing? We didn't talk about this. Did you think about that?" or even get even key people in the organization to kind of get their take on what I was thinking about. And so that was really a punch to the face. And it made me think about formulating ideas, communicating them, seeking feedback, getting buy-in, and then being more deliberate and careful with planning a rollout versus me just going,
We're doing it.
yeah, we're doing it. And so that was a big lesson.
It's interesting too because I'm an idea person like that. I'm like, oh, we can do everything. And it's like, well, maybe we could do 2 things this quarter, 2 things next quarter. And you're like, but we could do 10,
Exactly.
and it's like, no, we need to roll it out. We need
Yeah.
to get people comfortable. And then there's so many things that we think, oh, this is going to be an easy rollout. And then you start getting questions and you're like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was just going to be easy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. The lesson didn't really stick as hard as it should have because I bought this company. And even though I had some great advice from some peers in in the industry, after like the first 30, 60, 90 days, then I started to really ramp up and I was trying to do too much too quick. And so I had to pull off the throttle on that. But I guess I'm continually learning the same lesson over and over.
I'm reading a book right now. It's called Hug Your Customers. And it's not like a hug,
Yeah.
but it's like write a thank you note and
Mhm.
follow up and know their wife's name, how old are their kids, all those kinds of things. And it's very interesting. I really liked it. It's not 100% relatable because it's basically a high-end clothing store, which we're not selling high-end clothing, but it was basically talking about implementing things. And it was like, we may have 10 ideas, but if we push all 10 of them out, it's going to flop,
Yeah.
and they could all be great, but it's overwhelming to the
Right.
staff and everything. You
Yeah.
have it all up here, but
Yeah. And they all sound awesome when they're in my head until I start trying to roll them out.
no, I get it. I get it. What about mentorship? You've mentioned a couple people already. I'm guessing mentorship's probably been a big part of your career.
It really has. I mean, there's no way that I would be where I'm at today without people taking interest in me, what my goals and aspirations were or are. That's been a big deal. I mean, I've had some really interesting, patient and insightful people in my life, asking me questions and then trying to guide me and providing opportunities and then advocating for me whenever those opportunities popped up. So it's been a big thing. Yeah.
Do you actively have a mentor right now, or are you mentoring anyone?
Well, I do seek out advice and I've got some go-tos in the industry. I mean, Frank English was my first boss out of school and he was a vice president of constructors in Structure Tone and he's moved on and he's semi-retired. He's doing a really poor job of retiring.
Uh-huh.
And he and I get together often, and he's pretty brutal with his advice and how he pushes me, but it's made such a difference. And the fact that he's remained interested after 33 years
Yeah,
is that says a lot about
that's nice.
how he views mentorship and how he wants to pass on knowledge and wisdom and hope that someone does as good or better than he did.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like every year I have a couple girls that or younger women in the industry that I am mentoring. And it's interesting because I've heard some people say, oh, like they just need to go through it, like School of Hard Knocks. And I'm like, well, but no,
Yeah.
you don't have to do that. Like,
Yeah.
let me set you up.
Yeah.
I can remember one of my first mentors in this industry, Kathy Hutchison, who was big in SMPS. And she gave me, she had to redact a few things, but she gave me her marketing and business development plan. And she said, oh, I've been working on this for 25 years. Take it and make it your own. And I said, I can't take this. Like, you just told me you've worked on this for 25 years. And she goes, you will take it. And she goes, and you're going to modify it every year, but at least you'll have, a starting point for it. And it's funny because I've since taken that and emailed it to a handful of people like, hey, here's a good starting point. So it's nice when somebody cares, and they will give you those hard pieces of knowledge that you may or may not want to hear,
I mean, Frank and I have had conversations about, you can read about boxing, right? You can study it in books and videos and all that, but until you get in the ring, you're really not going to learn how to do it. And Frank's version of mentoring many times is like sparring. So he's really working me to make sure that I'm learning what I need to and making the tough decisions and some of the easier ones. But he's kind of got a combination of here's what I've learned. I've been there, done that. Here's how I got beaten up. But you're gonna have to learn some of it on your own as well. Put yourself in those situations.
Yeah. You might not get beat up as bad. It might be a little
Oh yeah,
different,
I
but
might
you
be
still
better prepared, but yeah.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's good. It's really good to have those people in your lives. So let's see, what's something that's unique or surprising that you have had in your journey over the years?
I'm probably the textbook version of a late bloomer, I think. I mean, I think I've got to go through hard knocks and get smacked around or taken out at the knees to learn things sometimes. And I've been pleasantly though, how much I've learned just in the last 2.5 years, last 3 years. And I wish that I had learned some of this earlier. I mean, one of the realizations of these epiphanies is none of this was meant to be easy. Early on, I was very frustrated that it was so hard and that it was taking so much time. But the reality is it's supposed to. That's really where we're growing. And you would think that I would have learned that in my teens, 20s, or 30s, but no, here I was learning it in my 50s instead. That's been a big deal. It's just learning that late. Also, as the leader goes, so does the organization, and so that's forced me to really think about my game face, who's going to show up that day, and how I'm going to respond to issues and stuff, things of that nature. And so that's been another realization. And I knew that as a leader where I used to work, it was important for game face, but when you got to, but we have so many layers of leadership over there, and it was so compartmentalized. Now you're the top of the heap, and even though we run a relatively flat organization, people are looking to me. How's he reacting? What does he think? Is he steady or is he volatile? Or I mean, any of those things. So that was a big lesson too.
Do you think, kind of going back to your Beck days, you've done the architect thing, you've done the project management, then you moved into HR. I mean, most people don't move into the HR department.
No,
That I feel like probably has put you head and shoulders above others.
yeah, I was certainly blessed with a lot of diversity. That was one of the neat things about Peter is he didn't necessarily believe in traditional career paths, and he allowed people to kind of explore some of their gifts and talents in other areas. And so that was a blessing because yeah, that certainly gave me a different perspective on things, not only from a business standpoint, but just even personally, professionally, on how I navigate things. And then working into the chief administrative officer position, where all of a sudden you got legal risk, some QA, QC functions, integration that really stretched on being able to manage some very different personalities. So yeah, I think it added tools to my tool chest for sure.
Nice. Nice. Okay, let's talk a little bit about some industry insights here. What's your perspective on some industry trends or any specific challenges that you guys are going through right now?
I think the one that I'm sure you hear a lot about is just talent and being able to go find it, and then making sure that it's aligned with your culture, your personality, and the skill set and all that, and then developing it. I mean, I think that's going to be with us for a long, long time, if not forever, on navigating that. So finding the right talent's been a challenge for us, and I think it is for a lot of people in our industry. And it seems like it's a bit of a zero sum game where people are just moving from one company to the next. And well, here's my value proposition versus where you're at's value proposition. I can offer you this sort of growth, the rewards, all sorts of things. And it seems that people are just moving not laterally, but they're moving left to right from organization to organization right now, more than when I first got out of school for sure.
I feel like more in the last 5 years than I've ever seen. So, yeah, no, that's interesting. That was ultimately one of the reasons why we started this podcast was we had a consultant and he kept saying, if you get your podcast out there, if people are searching for a place, the podcast will come up and hopefully that will look interesting,
Yeah.
intriguing, something a little different. So yeah, there's a lot of things I feel like with marketing, it ultimately goes back to recruiting. We obviously want to win work and we
Yeah.
want our people to see that, but we also need to hire good people.
That's exactly right.
So
Yeah. I'd say something else is risk, just in general. I was having breakfast with an attorney friend of mine. He's actually our attorney. And he looked at me, he says, I think you're like in a legalized gambling business because of all the risk you're taking.
yeah.
And you're taking a gamble. And so I think risk has changed a lot in the last, certainly since I've been around for 33, 34 years now. And how you manage it. I mean, number one, having enough brain power in the room or enough resources you can talk to about these things to identify it. That's big. Regardless of what maybe you have to identify it, and then you have to figure out how are we going to deal with this? Are we going to monetize it? Are we going to transfer it to someone else? Are we going to do it contractually? And then creating a plan for that, and then having a client that's on board with it as well, because we're sharing in some of this risk. Who's gonna take what? And then you've got trade partners and your own people, and then process and plans and executing properly so that you can minimize the impact of that risk is big. I mean, the margins are what they are in this business. I like to think that ours are better than average, but still, they can evaporate in a heartbeat if you've misidentified or mishandled some of that risk.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. That is interesting. Risk and recruiting. Let's see, is there any sort of actionable advice for any of our listeners who may be in similar fields?
That's a tough question. I mean, we all kind of navigate this industry in our own way. There's probably some common things. I would say you have to be a consumer of knowledge that comes from outside of ourselves, like either through reading, through viewing, through mentorship, coaching, relationships. But you have to be consuming constantly, because I think if you don't, uh, you're going to be left a little bit further behind.
Yeah, very quickly.
There's that part. But like I said, even on the risk issue, if you're not consuming information or knowledge on that, you're 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 potentially exposing yourself to things that we shouldn't, or you're not creating an advantage that you could, or you're not keeping up with your competition like you should, by not just consuming what I think you should. So there needs to be a natural curiosity, and I don't mind speaking really candidly about the lack of curiosity. Really irks me a bunch. And when you run into people that aren't asking questions about you, about what you do, how you do it, or how can we do this better? What did we learn from this? That is a pet peeve of mine.
Mine too. And it's so interesting because I'm like, why don't you want to ask these questions? Why don't you want to know the answers to these questions? Have you ever done the Strengths Finders test?
Yes.
Is learner in your top?
Yeah.
Mine's number one.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm always learning something. I mean, a new hobby, a new activity. I'm always reading books. And so, yeah, I think it's really interesting. And we need all sorts of people. But I'm like, wow, like these people are just okay with status quo.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, their status quo is going to keep going further and further down because they're going to get left behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. And I am a question asker. I was probably that 5-year-old where it's like, how many more questions is she gonna ask?
Yeah.
I just do that as a grown up now.
Yeah. Same way. When I was at Beck and would speak in front of some of our younger people, and a lot of these questions come about: how did you get here? What do you think? What do you believe? And one of the things I would share with them was that I was always just a little pissed off about how things were, and that they could always be better, and you should always be digging to see, okay, why does it work the way it does, and what happens if we pull on this piece or take that process out and put another one in. I think that's one of the fun things about the business, but I also think it's key to having some of that in you to grow and succeed.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's an interesting thing. One big thing that I've been kind of focused on the last 6 months are efficiencies. So how can we, if we pull this string, does it mess everything up or does it save us an hour? And so because there's always things you can streamline a little bit more, but you have to experiment with it.
Right.
It may work, it may not work, but if you do nothing,
Yeah.
you'll never know.
hmm
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, we're the same on that.
Do you need reliable, high-quality service for your commercial project? Choose Carrco, the most trusted contractor in commercial painting, drywall, and floor coatings in DFW. With over 30 years of experience, Carrco delivers top-tier craftsmanship across Texas. From expert painting and seamless drywall and durable floor coatings, we handle it all, on time and on budget. Transform your space with the professionals at Carrco. Visit carcopainting.com today. Carrco, where quality meets reliability.
Let's see. What are you most passionate about in your job?
I think where I used to be at, it was certainly developing people, mentoring and developing people. That's still a thing, but it's changed a little in that, I mean, we took on a business that wasn't doing well. There's no doubt about it that this was a distressed asset,
Uh-huh.
for lack of better terms. So flipping that to what it is today, but now continuing that and growing that so that it's sustainable, so that other people can enjoy
Mhm.
the benefits of providing value to customers, providing value for their families, and things like that. And so that, along with people development's kind of become the thing. Is how do I grow this in a good, healthy way that's respected and that I can pass on to people in the company, my boys, if they want. I mean, they're going to have to earn their way into it no matter what, but I want them to have the opportunity, as well as the team that we've got in place now, to enjoy some of this and let me take a step back and watch what you guys can do with it. So that's kind of the thing. I would say it's a bit of our North Star right now.
Nice. Are you doing like regular trainings and things in your office or?
Making training available to some of our folks. I
Nice.
mean, obviously, Texas has
Mhm.
played a big role in for some of our people through YCC and EDP. So we're taking advantage of that.
Nice.
Being involved in organizations is a lot different now than when I showed up.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm fortunate to be on the Texas board. That's a big deal for me
Yeah.
to have that privilege.
Mhm.
But then allowing our other people to go be on boards of organizations, whether they're professional, philanthropic, charitable, whatever they might be, that's become a thing. Go stretch your wings, go do something that you're passionate about. And I'm okay with it being for the business or for you personally, but go do something in those in addition to providing value to those organizations. There's learning that happens there, so there's some of that. And then I'm doing my own training with our folks. I took over a family-owned business, having come from a business that had been around for 112 years at that time, 114 years at that time. We kind of figured a few things out. So there's a lot that I've been trying to implement in our business that it's more structured and processed, that we're controlling
Nice.
things, risk, or how to develop efficiencies by sort of repeating certain things. And so I'm kind of one of our own trainers in that regard.
Yeah, we're about to start an emerging leaders program. And so some of them will be taught by us, and some of them will have, an outside trainer come in. But I'm pretty excited about that. And so we put together a list of 10 kind of up and coming,
Yeah.
and so it's like, well, eventually we want you all to do it, but we can't have it
Right.
can't be for everybody all at once. But I mean, and you have the knowledge to share, so why not
Yeah.
make it some sort of formal curriculum?
Yeah. And quite frankly, I think it's fun.
Mhm. I do too.
Not that I like to hear myself talk, but I like teaching our people some of these things, and you can see the light bulbs go on. They don't like everything I say because there's a bit. Well, I've always done it this way,
Mhm.
or this is how I learned it. And I go, that's awesome, but this is how I think we're going to be doing things,
Mhm.
and here's why we're going to be doing it. I do enjoy passing that on. And then when it works, that makes it really special.
Mhm.
When you see a process that we've implemented, either through hard knocks or through studying,
Mhm.
and then it starts working, you're going, okay, now we're on to something.
Yeah, I really love to do my BD trainings, and then I see it happen in front of me and I'm like,
Hmm.
it's working.
Yeah.
It's working. Like it works, but then it's like, okay, I've said it enough times. It's soaking in. We're actually doing it. Yeah, and I always encourage people to get involved as well. And so my term has been up, but I was on the board for the library
Hmm.
for the Friends of the Dallas Public
Yeah.
Library. And so not that I spent a lot of time there, but I love books. I love reading. I want everybody to have their
Yeah.
library card. And so that's what I would encourage people, if you want to volunteer at a dog shelter, do that. And then also you might want to get involved in
Mhm.
EXO or,
Yeah.
however it can fit in. And I think so many times they think it's just the professional organizations. And it's like, no, 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 like go find something you love
Mhm.
and you're going to learn a lot just by sitting in that room on the board,
Yeah.
planning things. So yeah, I think that's really good.
Yeah. I mean, and on the training note, one of the other things I learned about owning a smaller business, I mean, we're growing, but me having to spend more time in the business versus on. Where I used to work, we could be on the business in our positions, but now I'm having to develop a lot of vertical expertise in areas that I've been out of for a while. And because it's so fast paced, because the life cycle of our projects are, you know, 14, 12 months and less. I mean, we're always marketing. We're always, all of us are doing business development.
Right.
So there's a lot of pre-construction that's happening at the same time. And so I'm having to figure out how to use the activity, the actual activity of pre-con, for example,
Mhm.
to teach our people how we're going to be doing things, or the actual activity of business development, and that's how we're using it to train, versus just a formal setting like this and going, okay, here's our curriculum, here's how we're going to work
Right.
through it. It's on the fly, in the moment, in real time.
Well, and that's what I do, like a monthly business development. I call it a training. I'm going to use training loosely, but a lot of times it's what have I heard over the last month that we just need to spend an extra hour on,
Right.
how to get through. So sometimes I'll have a formal PowerPoint type of a thing, but a lot of times it's, hey, I heard X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Let's talk it through. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. We might have to compare notes once we start getting our curriculum together and you have yours. And
Yeah.
yeah, we could cross pollinate on that a little bit. What are some of your future goals?
Other than growing the business in a healthy way, and that means, to me, that means not too slow, not too fast, and making sure that we're finding clients that we're the best aligned with, and we're getting way better at that.
Good.
I don't have a number in my mind. Now my guys do. They've got big eyes and they're super hungry and super ambitious, but I know that if we don't grow fast enough, the opportunities will dwindle up for our people to grow inside the organization. So that's that part of it. If we grow too fast, then we run the risk of not being resourced properly and taking on too much and getting ahead of our skis and failing that way. And to me, that's just as bad and ruining our reputation. So growth is a goal. Again, I don't know what the exact rate is, the number of projects, or the revenue number or anything like that, but just to make sure that it's steady over the foreseeable future, so that our people have got something they can grow into, and something that they can take to another level. So that's a big thing. I mean, personally, I would like to step a little bit away from what I'm doing. That could help more people out. I mean, I've enjoyed coaching and mentoring other people with their businesses. I want to be able to do that at some point in time. I'd like to pass on more functions in the company right now. I'm enjoying and learning a lot at the moment, but I do want to step back from that.
Well, and it's not, and really it's giving opportunities to those people,
Mhm.
So, I mean, if you see that growth opportunity in someone,
Mhm.
then they're going to be thrilled, hopefully,
Yeah.
that they, to take those responsibilities on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and then just continuing to help. I've got a core team of people in the company that I think are the future of the company, and so spending time with them and helping them grow me, so that I've got growth and development goals for them that sometimes are apparent to them, sometimes they're not, but that's okay. And working with them because I see young people that can be so much more than they are. They're already great and they're awesome, but gosh, they've got so much more potential.
yeah.
And so I want to play a role in getting it to that next level.
Yeah. There's a young woman who's newer to the industry, and I just love her. She's amazing and wonderful. And I'm like, I can't wait to see where she's at in 10 years.
Yeah.
We meet semi regularly, And so, yeah, it's fun when you can see that. You're like, man, she's going to be amazing.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
she's already amazing, like you said, but she's just going to be even more amazing.
Yeah.
So it's cool to be able to be, I guess, at that age and that experience level to be like, that's a good one,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so let's see some personal things. What are some of your hobbies outside of work?
I like to shoot
Okay.
a lot. I I don't do a lot of hunting. I do an annual hunt with my best friend that I've just started doing. So we go dove hunting every September. So that's coming up. I shoot plays a lot. I've only improved slightly since having done it, but I enjoy it. It's just a way to disconnect and focus on something else. And now I'm starting to play a little bit more golf.
Okay.
And, take all of my boys out to the range.
Nice.
They're super young, letting them kind of develop their swing and just using that as family time is something else we're doing. And then we like to travel.
Okay.
We'll be doing a 2 week vacation here in a month or so. We're now in a position where I think I can disconnect in a pretty significant way
Good.
from work. So doing traveling with the boys is good. And then we'll do getting together with my family is a big deal. With my girls, my nieces and nephews, we'll do something up in Colorado
Nice.
next year. Just enjoy that time with each other. Having gotten to my age now, you understand the value of time and how fleeting it is, because they come and go. All of us do. And so that's become a really important thing, to spend as much time with friends and loved ones as I can.
Where are you going in 2 weeks?
It's I don't know the exact name of the town, but it's in eastern Tennessee, almost the Carolinas, up in the
Okay.
mountains. We'll be
Nice.
yeah, we'll be there for a week because I like the mountains, and then Carrie loves the beach, which
Okay.
I loathe. So then we're doing a week down at the beach, Alabama. So
Okay. Nice.
yeah,
Yeah, we always say we're mountain people
yeah,
too. Have you been to Hawaii?
I have, yeah,
So we went to Hawaii a couple months ago and we went to Kauai.
yeah,
And everyone said if you're adventure, you're not the beach person, Kauai is the place to
yeah,
go. And so, I mean, we didn't sit on the beach very often. Like we did, I mean, we were on the beach, but I just get bored. And
yeah,
I mean, I'm like, I can read my book anywhere and not have sand stuck on me.
yeah. Carrie grew up going to the beach, so
Okay.
I think that's special time for her,
Yeah.
and I love that she loves it. But I'm gonna go, okay. I've been there for a day now. What?
I can do this for 3 days. Give me something
Yeah.
else. Yeah. Well, has she been to Hawaii? Like that's the happy medium here.
Yeah, I think she has. Uh, but yeah, we'll do that. So, like I said, the family time's important. Other than that, I'm working on trying to spend more time where I'm not thinking about work. I mean, because work's always a murmur in your mind, or at least it is for me, especially running a business. My respect for business owners, it went through the roof once I started doing this.
Yep.
By the way,
There's a lot that goes
yeah.
on. Yeah.
And so trying to turn the volume down on that murmuring, do things. And I like to work around the house. I like to do most of my own work because I don't think anyone could do it as well as I can, except believe it or not, drywall and paint. I can't stand that because it takes too long for me to get it the way I want it. But just doing things that I can disconnect and focus on that.
Uh-huh.
Like I used to be a big mountain biker. I want to get back into that with the boys. So because you're so focused on your line, your braking, your what your wheels and tires are doing, stuff like that, that you can't think about work. So
Right.
I'm trying to figure out what more of that is
Mhm.
so that I can disconnect from
Nice.
work and the world.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Let's see. Do you have a defining moment or philosophy that you live by?
I do. I can't say it the way I say it to other people. I gave the toast at my daughter's wedding 3.5 weeks ago.
Okay.
And one of the things when they were growing up that I would tell them was, "Life's tough, but we're tougher." Now, I didn't say it that way. It was a little bit more colorful, but I got that from my mom. I mean, life is a tough journey, and I think it's meant to be tough so that we get stronger and grow. And so when I wake up in the morning, not every day, but I think about, okay, this might be a tough day, but I'm tougher than any moment in the day, any occurrence, any of that. And so I try to use that to kind of
Yeah.
motivate me because it's hard not to get down every now and then. But you go, okay, I'm still tougher than what this is, and we figured it out so far, so we're gonna keep doing it.
Mhm.
I try to live by that. And in terms of defining moments, gosh, there's so many. I think coming to the realization that I needed to make a change in my career. It was tough to think through. I said it was easy. Getting to the decision was tough, but once I got there, it was easy. I knew what I had to do. But really thinking through that, I think was defining because it forced me to go to other people and ask for help
Mhm.
and get ideas and opinions. And in that, I felt like I was getting smarter, I was getting wiser, I was getting great, I was developing courage to go do this. And so I think getting in that rut was a defining moment. And
Mm.
I call it a rut. The fact of the matter is, I was just on autopilot,
Right.
and the strain of travel. I mean, all of it mixed up. That's what I'm calling the rut. So I would say that was probably a defining moment recently.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I like that. Who or what inspires you the most?
There are so many. My mom, number one. Uh, You would never know by seeing her, but she's one of the toughest ladies I've ever met. To have grown up the way she did and survive what she has. I mean, if she can do it as my mom, then that gives me motivation to be as tough as she was. And so she's big in my life, as well as her sisters. I mean, they're all telling me what they think about what I should do and shouldn't do.
Do they live close by?
They all live together. Yeah, so they're all single now, and so they all live together in Mexico. So
Okay. Okay.
they have no problem coaching and advising me, and I welcome it. Carrie, my wife, is a big one because without her, being the way that she was, I don't know that I would have made the transition. I think the transition would have happened to me versus me making it happen. And so she played a big role, and being 100% in my corner, uh, win or lose, she's right there with me. And she's been a great encourager, especially the last 3 years. So
Nice.
she's big. And then I've got some friends. I mean, my best friend, Chris Klepper, is a big influence in my life, because I just see him as the epitome of what a husband is, what a dad is, and just someone who cares about his people at work. He's and he and I get together frequently to talk about life and work and stuff like that. Or I'll ask him, "Hey, what would you do in this situation?" He's quick to think through things and let me know how he would do it, and
Nice.
that lets me think. So I think those three people are probably some of the biggest influences right now.
Nice. Nice. Okay, we have a quick fire round,
Okay.
which is never quick fire because then I start asking you
Yeah.
a question. What's the last book that you read?
No Rules Rules, I think it's the last one. And I didn't know that I was going to like it, but
Huh?
there was a couple of points that it made. My favorite was radical candor. And, that's a thing at Cooper,
Nice.
and because I can assure you, no one's afraid to tell me what they think about what's going on,
Okay.
and I love it that way. And so I think that we've achieved a level of radical candor that lets us interrogate the truth, interrogate concepts and ideas together without this fear of hurting feelings. No, we're attacking this, or we're attacking a behavior or a thing, not you. And so that's something I got out of that book. And then the other piece was so I can remember what they talent density, I think is what they called it.
Mhm.
And that made me think about how we recruit and how we retain. And so how do I increase the density of high performer, high potential people? And sometimes that involves tough decisions, right? And so that was a cool book, just for those two concepts
Yeah.
alone.
So we started a Carco book club,
Mhm.
and that was our first book club.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then do you know Norma Lehman?
Yeah.
So we have her on schedule. So every time, so we normally spend 2 months reading the book,
Mhm.
and then Norma will come in on month 3 and do a training all related back to our strengths finders.
Yeah.
And so we're on our 3rd book right
Mhm.
now. But yeah, that was a good one right out of
Yeah.
the gate. That's
Yeah.
a very interesting
And,
book.
and even though it's for a multi-billion-dollar organization, I think the principles apply to regardless of the size of the organization.
Mhm. Well, and it just if you do it as a book club for your
Mhm.
company, I mean, it just brought up such great conversation. It was a good one.
Yeah.
Especially once they got, past the candor
Mhm.
part of it, then it's like, okay, well, I have lots of things I want to talk about now.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. What's your favorite quote?
There's a bunch of them. I think one of the most recent ones that kind of popped into mind is "Don't spend major time on minor things" by Jim Rome. I think is who said that one. That's a biggie. I don't know who said this one, but one that I tell our folks a lot of time is we don't want to make we do not want to apply a permanent solution to a temporary problem. That means that can mean eliminating a relationship, making a decision that may cost too much money. I mean,
Mhm.
to me, the more important part is making a decision that just kills the relationship
Mhm.
for something that's temporary. So
Right.
I think those two quotes are big. On the major time on minor things, I'm not as good as I want to be with that one. And the reason it's a recent quote in my mind is because I'm having to work really hard uh, on how I'm spending my time. And I've been really bad lately. So I talked about consuming information and knowledge and all that. Well, there's a tangent piece of that where I've been consuming news and things like that. And I feel like I've fallen victim to
Uh-huh.
now. It was good to consume knowledge, but now I've added this to it. Well, that takes time, and that time's coming from somewhere, and it's coming from my family. And so that's something I'm learning right now and going through. And so that I think that's why that quote kind of popped in my mind and seems powerful at the moment.
Oh, what's a skill that you would like to learn?
I've always wanted to learn to play the piano,
Okay.
but I've never taken the time because
Okay.
once I start, and I've started a couple times, it's really hard.
It is hard.
All right, I'm going to go do something else. My wife plays can play the piano, so that's probably good enough for me. I'll just watch her play.
There you go.
Yeah.
I read something. I feel like growing up, it was always you have to do your 30 minutes of whatever, whatever it is. Your parents were making you do 30 minutes of it every
Yeah.
day. And I just read something that it was apparently someone's done research on this, and apparently you just need 18 minutes a day.
Oh, wow.
So if you're doing 18 minutes a day, then eventually
Yeah.
you'll get good at it.
Yeah, I lacked the musical gene. Both my girls were in band, and so they clearly got the musical gene, and they were really great percussionists. But I didn't get that.
So it's been a couple years ago. A friend of ours took us to the F1 race, and Queen performed. And I was like, going into it, I was like, I probably know some Queen songs. It was the best concert I've ever been to in my entire life. And I had been talking about taking guitar lessons for years,
Yeah.
years. And so I was like, I'm going to do it now. Like, I'm going to do it. Like, that concert motivated
Yeah.
me. And I said, but like, I know my personality. I was like, I'm going to commit to 6 months of guitar lessons and just get it out of the
Yeah.
system. And so I took 6 months of guitar lessons, and I mean, it doesn't sound great, but I can play a handful of like old classic rock, but I'm like, that's all that it's out of the system now.
Yeah.
So
That-
I'll probably pick it up again. But
that's awesome.
yeah, yeah. So take your piano lessons.
Yeah, I got to carve out that time, right?
18
Yeah,
minutes.
18
You don't need
minutes.
30, you just need 18. What is the favorite city you have ever visited?
Oh gosh, particularly I think Chicago. It's truly one of my favorites. I mean, lots of great memories there, obviously, but just the architecture and its history. I don't know if you've been, but you've done the architectural river the tour, and it's unbelievable just to see the sheer magnitude of what they've built there, and then I mean, just how awesome it looks and the history behind some of these decisions and why things ended up where they're at.
Oh, that's interesting.
So Chicago is probably, yeah, domestically one of my favorites.
You want to know a funny Chicago story?
Yeah.
So I grew up in Indiana. The last time I was in Chicago was for a Britney Spears concert from when I was in college.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I should probably go back. It
Yeah.
maybe changed a little bit.
It's such a cool town. It's a great food town also. It's a good bar town too. And then I think internationally, gosh, Madrid was good, but I think my favorite, maybe because of what we were doing, was Reykjavik, and that was our honeymoon. And it was kind of this very peaceful. The architecture is awesome, but it's very peaceful, and there just aren't a lot of people there. I mean, when we went, there's only 300,000 residents in the entire island of Iceland. So yeah, Reykjavik's probably up there.
I feel like there was a slew of people going there. And then now I keep hearing about people going to Croatia.
Hmm.
So apparently everyone's done to Iceland
Yeah.
now. Now we're on to Croatia, I guess. I don't know. That's cool. I haven't been to either one of those. So that's on the list.
Hmm.
What's your favorite construction project that you have been a part of?
I think my first one with Beck was up there, the Texas Motor Speedway, just because it was so unique. Things were so much different back then. There were only 5 of us running that job in the office, along with our field guys. But that was a $130 million super speedway in 1995 and 97 with 5 office staff on average.
That's
I mean,
great.
operations.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Hmm.
we self-performed $15 million worth of concrete work at that time.
Wow.
I mean, hundreds of thousands of yards of excavation was on it. But that one was really unique because it was, we develop schedules nowadays and we build buffer into these schedules, and inevitably something happens and the date pushes out. Something happens to that end date. I haven't seen very many jobs that finish on time anymore. That one had to. There was a TV date.
Wow.
It was set and it had to be done for that TV race that weekend. And so there was no getting around, well, this didn't work out.
Yeah.
Everything was about recovery, recovery, recovery. And then the guy running that job, Jerry Carmichael, was a big time name back then. I mean, I learned so much from that guy, not about how to build, but how to deal with the client and the challenges that came with that project. But that one was really unique.
So when we moved to Texas, we built a home in a neighborhood a mile and a half down
Really?
the road from there. And so I literally had all the races like in my calendar
Mhm.
because of traffic.
Yeah.
We're basically, I always called it house arrest. We
Yeah.
were on house arrest for the weekend because we couldn't get out or in because of race traffic.
Yeah.
And then I realized, with these people coming in with their big campers and things, I was like, okay, well then I can't get groceries on Friday or Saturday. Like I would have to get groceries on Tuesday, like on race day. So it's funny the things that you learn when you live by those places.
Yeah.
So
I think physically that was just a product that we delivered. That's probably the neatest one. And then from a team standpoint, I think Firewheel Town Center was my favorite.
okay.
There was just something about that team that was so aligned on what we were trying to do and having fun at the same time that one just sticks in my memory.
Nice. Those are always good ones.
Yeah.
I think we've gotten through all of our questions, and I don't think there's anything else that you put on your notes over here. But was there anything else that you wanted to bring up or talk about?
I mean, probably the most important thing I think, and we kind of hit on, is the mentorship piece. I think it's such a huge part of the formula for growing and succeeding. But I mean, my encouragement to everyone is, if you don't have someone that's mentoring, you go find someone. I mean, it's kind of your responsibility to go find someone that you trust, that cares for your development. I don't know how much more I can add on that. I mean, that's one of the things that's most enjoyable about what I do. Connecting with people that have something they want to talk through, they reach out, or just me checking on them. You know, the people that I stay connected with, just to see how they're doing and if they need any help. So I think that's probably one of the big items.
Okay, well then I think we are officially done.
Awesome.
Awesome.